The storm came fast. Dark clouds rolled over the hills like angry waves. Emily Carter rushed to finish her chores before the rain started. The 21-year-old farm girl had lived in Willow Creek her whole life. Her boots sank in the mud as she pulled the last crate of eggs into the barn. That's when she heard it. A loud crash echoed from the narrow road near the pasture. Then silence. Her heart jumped. Emily grabbed her coat and ran. The wind slapped her face and rain soaked her hair. As she reached the road, she saw a black SUV smashed into a tree. Steam poured from the engine. She froze. Should she call for help? Then the driver's door opened slowly. A man stumbled out, clutching his side. He looked hurt. Very hurt. "Sir? Are you okay?" she yelled over the rain. The man didn't answer. He took one step, then collapsed. Emily's instincts kicked in. She ran to him, kneeling in the mud. His face was pale, his hands shaking. He looked maybe 30, with dark hair plastered to his forehead. "Can you hear me?" she asked, pressing his wrist to feel for a pulse. It was weak, but there. She had no idea who he was. Just a stranger. But she couldn't leave him there. Emily stood up, her breath shaking. "Okay, mister. I don't know who you are, but I'm not letting you die in a ditch." She dragged him toward her farmhouse, unaware her life was about to change forever. Emily groaned as she dragged the stranger into her living room. His boots left a trail of mud on the wooden floor. Her heart pounded from the weight of him and the fear that he might not make it. She laid him gently on the old couch near the fireplace. His white dress shirt was torn and soaked in blood on one side. "What happened to you?" she whispered. She grabbed a first aid kit and began cleaning the wound on his side. It wasn't too deep, but he had a nasty gash and likely some bruised ribs. She worked carefully, trying not to stare at his handsome face. When she dabbed alcohol on the wound, he flinched and groaned. His eyes fluttered open. "Where am I?" he mumbled, his voice rough. "You're safe," Emily said. "You crashed your car. You're in my farmhouse. I'm Emily." His eyes searched her face, confused. "I'll call the doctor." "No," he said quickly. "No hospital." Emily frowned. "Why not?" "You're hurt." "I just need rest," he said, breathing hard. She hesitated but nodded. "Okay. But if you get worse, I'm calling someone." He gave a small nod before drifting back into sleep. Emily sat back, watching him closely. Who was he? Why was he so afraid of a hospital? As the storm raged outside, she wrapped a blanket around him and lit the fireplace. Whoever he was, fate had dropped him right into her world, and he had secrets. Big ones. Emily barely slept. She kept checking on the stranger, who only stirred once or twice during the night. By morning, the storm had passed, and the sun painted the sky with gold and pink. She tiptoed into the living room. He was still asleep, his breathing even now. As she turned to head to the kitchen, she heard a soft voice. "You stayed up all night?" Emily looked back. He was awake, eyes focused on her. Deep hazel eyes. Alert. Curious. "Yeah," she replied. "Didn't want you to die on my couch." A smile tugged at his lips. "Fair enough." She grabbed a glass of water and handed it to him. "Thanks. Emily, right?" She nodded. "And you are?" He hesitated. "Daniel." She waited for more. A last name. Anything. But he said nothing else. "Daniel? Just Daniel?" He gave her a tired smile. "For now." Emily raised an eyebrow but didn't push. Everyone had their secrets. "Well, Daniel, I hope you like eggs and toast." As she moved toward the kitchen, he called out, "You saved my life." She stopped in her tracks, her cheeks warming. "I couldn't leave you out there." When she brought breakfast later, he sat up slowly, wincing. He looked like someone important, but maybe that was just her imagination. Or maybe not. Because when she stepped outside to fetch more firewood, she noticed something odd. His SUV was completely gone. Vanished. And that was when Emily realized someone else had come during the night. Emily stood frozen on the porch, staring at the tire tracks in the mud. They led away from the tree where the SUV had crashed. She followed them a few feet, heart racing. No skid marks. No broken parts. Just clean tracks leading off into the woods behind her farm. Who had taken the car? And why? Back inside, Daniel was finishing his toast. "Your car's gone," she blurted. He looked up and something flickered in his eyes. Not surprise. Not fear. Just awareness. "I figured it might be," he said calmly. "You figured?" she echoed, shocked. Daniel set his plate down carefully. "I wasn't exactly alone before the crash." Emily folded her arms. "Want to explain?" He hesitated. "It's complicated." "Try me." He rubbed his jaw. Let's just say, someone wanted me out of the way. Emily stared at him. Like, hurt you on purpose? He nodded once. But they didn't expect me to survive. Emily sat on the edge of the couch. Are you in danger? I was, he said. But not anymore. His words were meant to reassure her, but they didn't. Daniel, if someone is after you, I need to know. I live here alone. This is my home. He softened. You're right. You deserve the truth. She waited, breath tight. He sighed. I can't tell you everything yet. But I promise I'm not a criminal. She searched his face, unsure whether to trust him. But deep down she already did. Even when her heart warned her not to. Daniel insisted on helping with chores that afternoon, despite his injury. Emily tried to stop him, but he was stubborn. I can handle light work, he said, carrying a small basket of hay. You can barely bend over, she replied. He gave a crooked smile. Then I'll walk tall. She rolled her eyes but secretly admired his spirit. They moved through the barn side by side. Emily showed him how to feed the goats and brush the horses. He listened carefully, his face soft with wonder, as if this world was completely new to him. You ever done farm work before? She asked. Never, he said. I've spent most of my life in cities. That explains the shoes, she joked, pointing to his fancy leather loafers now coated in mud. He laughed, a deep, rich sound that made something flutter in her chest. When they stopped to rest by the water trough, Daniel turned serious. This place, it's peaceful, he said. It's all I've ever known, Emily replied. He looked at her for a long moment. You're brave, you know. You didn't even hesitate when you found me. I couldn't leave you, she whispered. Their eyes locked. Her breath caught. Something passed between them, something quiet but powerful. He reached out, brushing a strand of hay from her hair. Her heart thudded loud in her ears. But before either could speak, a shadow moved past the barn door. Someone was watching. Emily's eyes darted to the barn door. Did you see that? Daniel stood up fast, wincing as he clutched his side. Stay here. But Emily was already moving. She stepped out into the open field, eyes scanning the tree line. The sun hung low now, casting long shadows across the ground. Hello, she called. No answer. Daniel joined her, more alert than she'd seen him all day. He stared into the distance like he was trained for danger. Maybe it was just a fox, Emily offered, though her gut said otherwise. Daniel didn't respond. Instead, he picked up a small object from the ground. A broken piece of black plastic, maybe from a phone or a walkie-talkie. You think someone's following you? Emily asked. I don't think, he replied. I know. Emily's stomach twisted. She wanted to trust him, but the secrets were starting to stack up. Who are you really, Daniel? She whispered. He met her gaze. I can't tell you everything yet. But soon. Why not now? Because the less you know, the safer you are. Emily frowned. That's not how trust works. Daniel looked away, jaw tight. I know. And I'm sorry. They walked back to the farmhouse in silence, the wind rustling through the grass. But behind them, hidden deep in the woods, someone watched through binoculars, taking notes, snapping photos. And Emily's quiet little world was now anything but safe. That night, Emily sat by the fire, arms wrapped around her knees. Daniel had gone to bed early, exhausted from the day. But Emily couldn't sleep. Everything felt off. She'd lived on this farm her whole life. Nothing ever happened. No visitors, no secrets. Now, in just 2 days, she'd rescued a man, lost a car, and found someone lurking in her fields. She reached for her notebook, the one where she wrote her thoughts and prayers. She opened to a clean page and wrote, "Who are you, Daniel? And why are you here?" The creak of the stairs made her jump. Daniel stood there, shirt wrinkled, hair messy. Couldn't sleep either? She nodded. Too much on my mind. He sat across from her, the firelight dancing on his face. I'm sorry I brought danger to your home, he said quietly. I never meant for that. Emily studied him. Are you running from someone? Yes. Are they dangerous? He nodded. They think I betrayed them. But all I did was try to protect my work. What kind of work? Daniel hesitated. Let's just say I built something powerful. Something worth billions. Emily blinked. You're joking. But his eyes said otherwise. She leaned back, heart pounding. So you're rich? I was. Until I walked away. Emily didn't know what to say. She wasn't used to people like him. But even now, as his secrets unfolded, something inside her said, he's not just a stranger anymore. And that was scarier than any shadow. Emily woke to the smell of fresh coffee. She blinked, confused. That was usually her job. She padded downstairs to find Daniel at the stove, flipping pancakes. "You're up early," she said, surprised. "I thought I'd earn my stay," he grinned. She laughed. "Not bad for a billionaire." He raised an eyebrow. "I never said billionaire." "You didn't have to." They ate breakfast at the table, sunlight pouring through the windows. For a moment, everything felt normal. Almost warm. Like he belonged here. After breakfast, they went out to tend to the animals. Daniel moved slowly but insisted on helping. As they worked, Emily asked, "Do you miss it?" "Miss what?" "Your old life. The money. The business." He paused. "I miss parts of it. The building. The vision. But not the pressure, not the fake people." Emily nodded. "I wouldn't know. Never left this farm." Daniel looked at her. "Maybe that's not a bad thing." They shared a soft smile. Later, as they walked past the fields, Daniel stopped. "If I told you who I really was, would you look at me differently?" Emily looked at him, eyes steady. "I think I already do." He reached for her hand, hesitating. She didn't pull away. For one breathless moment, the world went quiet. But the distant sound of an engine shattered it. A black SUV was crawling down the long dirt road toward the farmhouse. Daniel's grip on her hand tightened. "They found me." Emily's heart thudded as the black SUV pulled up in front of the house. "Go inside," Daniel said firmly. She didn't move. "No. If they want something, they can say it to both of us." The driver's door opened. A man in a dark suit stepped out, tall and serious-looking. He adjusted his sunglasses and walked toward them with calm confidence. "Daniel Pierce," he said. "Fancy seeing you here." Emily turned sharply. "Pierce?" Daniel winced. "I was going to tell you." The suited man glanced at Emily. "And you must be the lucky farm girl." "Who are you?" she asked, her voice tight. The man ignored her. "Daniel, you've made quite a mess. You vanished for a week, the board's in chaos, and your code? Gone." "I deleted it," Daniel said. "It was being misused." "You don't get to decide that." "I do now." The man stepped closer. "Come back with me. We'll fix this quietly. No need to involve her." Daniel moved between them. "She's not part of this." "Oh, but she is now." Emily had heard enough. "You need to leave. This is private property." The man smirked. "Careful, sweetheart. You don't know who you're dealing with." Daniel's fists clenched. "Get her. Land." The man raised his hands in mock surrender. "Fine. But this isn't over." He turned and walked back to the SUV. As it drove off, Emily stared at Daniel. "Daniel Pierce? As in, the tech genius?" Daniel looked away. "I wanted you to see me before you knew my name." Emily sat on the porch, arms crossed. Daniel stood nearby, silent. "So your full name is Daniel Pierce," she finally said. "CEO of Pierce Tech?" He nodded. "You're the guy who built CloudPath. The app that's on, like, every phone in the country." Another nod. "And you're hiding from your own company." Daniel let out a breath. "It's more complicated than that." Emily stared at him. "Try me." He sat down beside her. "They wanted to sell my tech to defense contractors. I designed it to connect people, not spy on them. I fought back. They forced me out. So I erased the mainframe and disappeared. And then crashed on my farm," she said, half smiling. He looked at her. "I never expected to find someone like you." Emily swallowed hard. "Why didn't you just tell me the truth?" "Because for once I wanted someone to see me. Not my name. Not my net worth. Just me." Emily looked into his eyes. And she saw it, the hurt, the hope, the truth. "I'm not mad," she said softly. "But next time, don't wait so long to trust me." Daniel smiled. "Deal." They sat in silence, the wind brushing through the fields. But inside Emily's chest, something new had started to bloom. Not fear. Not confusion. Something warmer. Brighter. She was falling for a man with a complicated past, and a very real future. A future that, somehow, felt like it might include her. If only the danger didn't catch up first. That evening, the sky turned soft shades of orange and lavender. Emily stood by the porch railing, watching the clouds roll slowly above the hills. She didn't hear Daniel approach, but she felt him beside her. "Beautiful," he said. She nodded. "It always is." He looked at her, not the sky. "I meant you." Emily turned, startled. His eyes were full of quiet, honest light. She wanted to look away but couldn't. "I don't know what happens next," he said. "But I know how I feel right now." Her heart pounded. "How do you feel?" Safe. Real. Alive. His voice was low, almost unsure. And that has everything to do with you. Emily's chest tightened. She'd never had anyone say words like that to her. Not here. Not ever. Daniel reached out, gently taking her hand. His fingers were warm, careful, respectful. I know I come from a different world, he said. But when I'm with you, none of that matters. Emily looked down at their hands, her breath shaking. Then she stepped closer, her head resting lightly on his shoulder. The moment stretched between them, soft, golden, honest. No past. No future. Just now. I'm not sure where this is going, she whispered. Then let's walk it together, he replied. In the distance, a hawk cried. The world felt still. But even in that peaceful silence, the danger hadn't left. And soon Daniel's world and hers would crash again. Only this time, love was in the middle. The house was quiet. Emily had gone to bed early and Daniel stayed up, reading a book she'd given him. It was peaceful until the knock. A sharp, firm knock on the front door shattered the stillness. Daniel froze. He crossed the room quietly and peeked through the curtain. A man stood outside, bald, muscular, with a thick coat and a sharp jaw. Definitely not a local. The man knocked again. Open the door, Daniel. I know you're in there. Daniel's breath caught. It was Owen Reeve, his ex-head of security. He opened the door slowly. What do you want? Owen stepped inside without waiting. You've made some powerful enemies. They're hunting you and they don't care who gets hurt. Daniel blocked the hallway. Leave Emily out of this. Owen lowered his voice. You care about her? Daniel said nothing. Owen's expression softened just slightly. Then don't stay here. Don't make her a target. Daniel's fists clenched. I'm not running again. Owen sighed. Then you better be ready. As Owen turned to leave, Emily appeared at the top of the stairs. Who is he? Daniel looked up. A reminder that my life isn't as far away as I hoped. Emily stepped down slowly. What did he say? That staying here puts you in danger. She looked at him firm. So do you want to leave? No, he said. But I might have to. Her heart cracked, but she held his gaze. Then we'll face it together. No more secrets. Outside, headlights flashed in the distance. The storm was coming back. The next morning, Daniel climbed into the attic. Emily had told him he could find some old clothes and supplies there. He needed to feel useful, and staying busy kept his mind off the fear building inside him. He pushed aside a dusty trunk and found an old wooden box. Curious, he opened it. Inside were yellowed letters, faded photos, and a small leather-bound notebook. The handwriting was neat, careful. It was Emily's mother's journal. He turned a page. Emily has such a kind heart. She talks to the animals as if they understand. One day she'll love someone the way I love this land, fiercely, fully, without fear. Daniel paused. His fingers trembled. This farm had raised more than crops. It had raised a girl with a heart too big for the world. He heard soft footsteps. Emily stood at the top of the ladder, watching him. I didn't mean to snoop, he said. It's okay, she said gently. That was my mom's. She died when I was 10. Daniel climbed down. She saw something in you, the same thing I see. What's that? Love. Real love. Emily didn't answer. Her eyes glistened. She stepped forward and for the first time she kissed him, soft, searching, full of everything they hadn't said. When they pulled apart, neither spoke. They didn't need to. But outside, a drone buzzed faintly overhead, silent, cold, recording everything. The world beyond the farm was closing in. And time was running out. The next day everything changed. Emily went into town for supplies. When she walked into the store, everyone turned to stare. Whispers followed her down the aisle. That's the girl? She's with him, right? You think she knows who he really is? Confused and rattled, she rushed back home. Daniel, she said breathlessly, slamming the door behind her. What did you do? He stood near the fireplace holding a phone. It wasn't me, he said. Someone leaked it. My location. Us. Her chest tightened. How? Daniel opened the back door and held up a tiny black device. A tracker. Probably hidden on me during the crash. It just went active. Emily covered her mouth. So now everyone knows where you are. And who I am. Daniel nodded grimly. It's gone viral. News sites, blogs. They're calling you the farm girl who caught the tech king. I didn't catch anyone, she whispered. He stepped forward. Emily, I'm so sorry. I never wanted this. I know, she said, voice shaking. But my life is never going to be the same. They stood in silence. The sound of a helicopter echoed in the far distance. Daniel took her hand. We can still choose how this ends. Together. She met his eyes. But what if I'm not strong enough for your world? Daniel touched her cheek. Then I'll bring my world to yours. Quiet. Honest. Real. But deep down, they both knew the quiet part was already over. They packed bags. Just in case. Daniel paced the living room, phone in hand. I can call someone. Have us out in an hour. Emily folded a sweater. Where would we even go? Somewhere safe. Somewhere private. This is my home, Daniel. I know, he said, his voice tight. And I hate that I've dragged you into this. Emily looked up. Then stopped running. He paused. You said you built your empire with courage. Why run now? Because I'm not the only one with something to lose anymore, he whispered. I'm scared, Em. She crossed the room and took his face in her hands. I'm scared too. But I'd rather face it than hide. He searched her eyes and something shifted inside him. Okay, he said. We stay. She smiled, a tear slipping down her cheek. Then we stay together. They hugged tightly, holding each other like the world might break around them. Outside, the wind picked up again, shaking the porch swing. Clouds gathered on the horizon. The media wouldn't stop. The corporate wolves wouldn't rest. But Emily and Daniel had made their choice. They would fight for this love. No matter how strange or messy or dangerous it got. Because sometimes the safest place in the world is in each other's arms. By noon, the news vans rolled in. Big city reporters stomped through the mud, snapping pictures, shouting questions. Emily, is it true you're dating Daniel Pierce? Did you know he was in hiding? Daniel stood on the porch, shielding Emily from the cameras. No comments, he said firmly. But they didn't leave. They set up tripods by the fence. Drones buzzed overhead. Neighbors peeked from their porches, unsure what to believe. Emily's hands shook as she fed the chickens. Her quiet life had become a circus. Daniel followed her to the coop. I can end this. How? She asked. Hold a press conference. Tell them everything. Own it. Emily turned to him, eyes wide. Are you ready for that? He nodded. If it means they'll leave you alone, yes. Emily reached for his hand. Then I'll be by your side. Daniel smiled, grateful, steady. That afternoon they stood in front of the cameras. Emily's fingers intertwined with his. I'm Daniel Pierce, he began. Yes, I disappeared. Yes, this woman saved my life. He paused, glancing at Emily. But more than that, she reminded me who I really am. Not a CEO. Not a genius. Just a man, one who found something he never expected. Love. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Emily squeezed his hand. Then from the edge of the field, a black car pulled up. Out stepped two corporate executives. The ones who'd tried to silence him. The real battle had arrived. The two men approached with practiced smiles and expensive shoes that sank into the mud. Daniel, the taller one, said, Let's talk. Emily stepped back, watching their every move. We're here with an offer, the shorter one added. Rejoin Pierce Tech publicly. Let us handle the spin. In return, you get your name back. Your company. Everything. Daniel didn't flinch. And if I say no? The taller man's smile faded. Then we'll release your personal files. Every private message. Every unfinished patent. You'll be branded unstable. Emily's heart pounded. Daniel crossed his arms. You're blackmailing me. We're protecting a brand. He looked at Emily, her dirt-smudged face, her strength, her courage. Then he turned back to them. Here's my answer. The crowd leaned in. I don't want the company back. But I'll release the code myself. Public. Open source. The world can use it for good. The execs froze. You wouldn't dare. I just did, Daniel said, holding up his phone. Uploaded 2 minutes ago. The taller man cursed under his breath. The shorter one's hands balled into fists. You're finished, he hissed. Daniel smiled. No. I'm finally free. The men turned and stormed off as the crowd erupted in noise. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted. But Daniel only looked at Emily. I'm done hiding, he said. Emily smiled through tears. So am I. And in that moment they didn't just win a battle, they reclaimed their future. That evening the sun bathed the farmhouse in golden light. The media had left. The executives were gone. Peace was slowly returning. Emily and Daniel sat on the porch swing, side by side, fingers laced. Do you regret it? She asked. Not for a second, he said. They can keep the buildings, the titles. I've already got the best part of that life right here. She smiled. You mean the chickens? He laughed, shaking his head. I mean you. Emily leaned into him. You're not just saying that? No, he whispered. I'm saying it because I've never known a love like this. Not in boardrooms. Not in billion-dollar launches. Only here. The swing creaked gently. Fireflies blinked in the grass. You still have ideas, she said. You're still Daniel Pierce. I'm still me, he agreed. But now I want to build something slower. More real. With me, she asked. He turned toward her, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Only with you. They kissed, soft, sure, no cameras watching, no noise to interrupt. Just them. In a place where roots grew deep and love could stretch wide. Daniel had traveled the world, built empires, and touched the sky. But here, on this farm in Emily's arms, he finally understood something. Home wasn't a place. It was a heart. Weeks passed. The fields grew full and green again. Life returned to its sweet rhythm. Emily laughed more. Daniel walked without pain. And the porch swing became their favorite meeting spot. But one evening, Daniel asked her to take a walk with him, to the big oak tree on the hill. It was where Emily used to go with her mother long ago. As they reached the top, the wind picked up slightly, brushing their hair. Daniel took a deep breath. I used to think I needed to change the world to matter, he said. But you showed me the world doesn't need changing. I do. Emily smiled gently. You've already changed. Daniel dropped to one knee. Emily gasped. He held up a simple gold ring, no diamonds, no flash. Just love. I don't want the next chapter of my life to begin without you. Will you marry me? Her hands flew to her face. Yes, she whispered. Yes, Daniel. 1,000 times yes. He slid the ring onto her finger as she knelt to hug him. Tears fell, laughter danced in the air, and the wind wrapped around them like a blessing. That oak tree had stood for 100 years. Now it would stand for something new. A promise that love doesn't need a spotlight. It just needs two hearts willing. The ceremony was simple. Chickens clucked nearby. The minister stood under the oak tree. Wildflowers lined the aisle. Only a few close friends gathered. No suits, no headlines. Just love. Emily wore a white dress made by hand. Daniel wore boots for the first time. They stood together, glowing in the summer sun. I do, Daniel said, eyes steady. I do, Emily replied, voice trembling. When they kissed, it was more than romance. It was relief. Healing. Truth. The crowd cheered. The goats bleated. Someone played soft music on a fiddle. Emily's aunt served fresh pie. Daniel danced with the neighbors. Laughter floated through the fields like music. Later, they slipped away from the crowd and walked to the hill where he'd proposed. You think we'll last? Emily asked, leaning against his shoulder. We've already survived the impossible, Daniel said. Now we get to build the ordinary. Together. She smiled, resting her hand on his chest. I like ordinary. He pulled her close. With you, even ordinary feels like magic. The wind stirred the grass. Stars peeked out above. And on that humble farm, where love had once fallen from the sky like a storm, it now stood strong and rooted, like the old oak tree. Because sometimes the richest love begins not in mansions or cities, but in muddy boots, shared chores, and silent promises. And sometimes, saving a stranger becomes the beginning of everything. I hope you enjoyed the story. Please take a moment to like the video, drop a comment, share it with someone, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more powerful stories like this. Your support means everything. Thank you for watching this video.